A storm of financial turmoil has gripped Eswatini as pensioners grapple with the shocking disappearance of their hard-earned funds. Allegations point across the border to a South African national at the center of this mystery, turning what was once a private concern into a public outcry. This unfolding saga exposes not just financial negligence but also tests the limits of cross-border accountability and governance, leaving thousands of elderly citizens demanding justice while navigating the precarious balance of hope and outrage. The missing pension funds reportedly amount to millions of emalangeni, affecting thousands of pensioners who rely on these payments for their livelihoods. The issue surfaced in 2020 when several pensioners noticed irregularities in their payments. By 2021, reports had begun to circulate about a South African individual allegedly implicated in the disappearance of the funds. This individual, whose identity has been widely discussed but not officially confirmed in all reports, is said to have had significant access to the management of these pensions through either a private financial institution or a related partnership. For many pensioners, these funds represent years of hard-earned contributions, often deducted from meager wages. The average pension payment in Eswatini stands at approximately 800 emalangeni per month, a sum that many recipients describe as insufficient to cover basic needs such as food, medication, and shelter. For those affected by the missing funds, the situation has become dire, with many now dependent on family support or community aid. The outcry from the pensioners, many of whom are elderly and vulnerable, has grown louder, with protests and petitions directed at Eswatini's government and parliament. The South African connection to the missing funds has added a layer of complexity to the case. South Africa and Eswatini share deep economic and historical ties, with many Swatis working in South Africa and cross-border trade forming a significant part of Eswatini's economy. The allegations against a South African individual have raised concerns about how international relations might influence the pursuit of justice in this matter. Additionally, questions have been raised about the due diligence conducted when awarding the management of the pension funds to external entities. Eswatini's government, led by Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini since July 2021, has faced increasing pressure to address the issue. Members of Parliament, including prominent voices such as Mduduzi Semelani and others, have called for thorough investigations. In late 2022, a parliamentary committee was established to probe the allegations and trace the missing money. Preliminary findings indicated potential negligence or fraud involving both local and international actors. However, these findings have not yet been translated into concrete actions or recoveries, leaving pensioners frustrated. Recent updates have revealed that approximately 335 million emalangeni of the missing funds, out of an estimated 406 million emalangeni tied to investments in Exponent Swaziland, now known as Eswatini Investment Group, were transferred to South Africa. This revelation has intensified calls for collaboration between Eswatini's authorities and South African entities, including financial oversight bodies and legal agencies, to trace and recover the funds. Efforts to secure these funds have yet to yield tangible results, deepening public frustration. The role of the South African authorities has also come under scrutiny. Calls have been made for collaboration between Eswatini's law enforcement and South African agencies such as the Hawks or the Special Investigating Unit to trace the individual and the funds. While there has been some indication of cooperation, tangible outcomes remain elusive. The case underscores challenges in cross-border legal and financial investigations, particularly when funds are transferred through multiple accounts or jurisdictions. Politicians in Eswatini have been vocal about their commitment to recovering the funds. Some have proposed measures such as asset freezes, the issuance of international warrants, and stronger regulatory oversight to prevent future occurrences. However, critics argue that political will alone is insufficient without robust institutional frameworks and enforcement mechanisms. Moreover, some observers have pointed to systemic issues within Eswatini's financial governance, suggesting that broader reforms are necessary to restore public trust. The plight of the pensioners continues to evoke sympathy and outrage across Eswatini. Community leaders, religious organizations, and non-governmental groups have stepped in to provide support, albeit limited, to the affected individuals. Public demonstrations, such as the ones in Mbabane and Manzini in early 2023, have highlighted the urgency of the matter. Placards demanding justice for pensioners and accountability now have become a common sight during these protests. In terms of international attention, the case has also been noted by regional bodies such as the Southern African Development Community, SADC. While SADC's mandate primarily involves political and economic cooperation, there have been calls for the organization to facilitate dialogue and cooperation in resolving the matter. However, it remains unclear whether SADC will take any active role. The situation also raises broader questions about the vulnerability of pension systems in smaller economies. Experts have pointed out that without stringent oversight and safeguards, pension funds can become easy targets for mismanagement or fraud. The Eswatini case serves as a cautionary tale for other nations in the region, prompting discussions on best practices and the role of international support in safeguarding public funds. Looking forward, pensioners in Eswatini remain hopeful that politicians will fulfill their promises to recover the missing money. Their optimism is tempered by the slow pace of investigations and the lack of tangible results thus far. Nevertheless, they continue to place faith in their representatives, urging them to prioritize this issue and ensure justice is served. As the story unfolds, it will likely remain a focal point of public discourse in Eswatini, reflecting the critical need for transparency, accountability, and the protection of vulnerable populations. Thank you for watching. If you found this topic as compelling as we did, don't keep it to yourself, like, share, and comment with your thoughts. Stay informed by subscribing and hitting the notification bell, so you never miss an update on stories that matter. See you in the next video.